The View's Meghan McCain was not happy to see the latest video of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene harassing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, reacting to a newly unearthed video from 2019, which Greene, of course, had been stalking and going to her office, and not just her office, but visiting all the members of the squad as well, their offices. McCain wrote on Twitter that this was making Republicans look bad. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Here's what she said, quote, "You're behaving like an animal. Harassing AOC like this only gives Democrats what they want, which is to paint all of us like we're psychotic barbarians. Aside from the fact that this is abusive and abhorrent behavior for anyone, let alone a sitting member of Congress." You know what? It's funny. Somehow, Meghan McCain takes a situation like this and somehow makes it about herself and her party. Like, oh, I can't believe you would do this. How horrible. That makes us look bad. Oh, Jesus. Now, as far as the substance of what she says, has Meghan McCain seen her party lately? What they've been up to? What they're actually about? At least for the last 4 years, and actually much longer. Right now, you're the barbarians. You're all the barbarians. I'm just saying. And it's not just because you don't believe that healthcare is a human right. That if you don't believe healthcare is a human right, for one, you are a barbarian, which would ironically lump some Democrats in as well. But yeah, I'll take it. And that workers don't deserve living wages for working, and that trans people don't deserve gender affirming healthcare. Those are already positions that you've had for a long time. So as far as I'm concerned, you've always been the barbarians. Always. And you know, but with Trump, of course, they ripped off the mask. They've revealed themselves to be the barbarians, and have openly embraced Trump. And so Trump, of course, has been, as I've said before, basically a mirror for the Republican Party, and basically their way of allowing themselves to be the worst versions of themselves. Okay, and they've always been like this. But again, they've basically, they're holding up this demigod to them, right? And as a result, he has a 90% approval rating among Republicans. And by the way, 70% of Republicans also believe that Biden only won as a result of voter fraud. Now, that belief, of course, fueled the Capitol riots, Capitol insurrection, which again makes y'all look like the barbarians that you are. By the way, full 55% of Republicans say that they believe that the riot was started by violent left-wing protesters trying to make Trump look bad. The FBI has said that there's absolutely no evidence to support those claims. And again, the FBI is not some weird lib organization. No, the FBI has been staunchly against progressive interests in the entire country. If there was a shred of evidence that if it was Antifa or any sort of left-wing organization that was part of the riots, you don't think, I do believe that the FBI would have been all over it, but like, wow, look at all the Antifa. Yeah. So I'm just saying, not a traditionally leftist or left association. In fact, this is the same organization that tried to get MLK Jr. to off himself. And MLK Jr., of course, famously tried to organize both white and black sanitation workers, and has, of course, he's a socialist. He was a socialist, trying to start a socialist, movement, labor movement in this country, which again fights both against racism and the capital class. So I'm just saying, FBI, not your friends. Even so, the FBI is like, yeah, we just can't find any evidence of a left-wing group behind the Capitol riots. That's all MAGA. That's all the far right. But anyway, not only are Republicans the barbarians, but they don't even believe in objective reality anymore. They don't accept it. They reject it 100%. Plus, by the way, as an example of this, they canceled Liz Cheney, who was awful. And I pointed out the many reasons why Liz Cheney is horrible. But the reason that they canceled her is because she didn't back Trump. That was it. That's all it took. Not only that, but Justin Amash, same thing. He got canceled, even though he's a libertarian, free speech, constitutional conservative. Doesn't matter. You spoke out against Donald Trump. Gone. You're gone. But yet Marjorie Taylor Greene gets to go around and just do incredibly insane things. And not only that, and say insane things and believe in insane things and all that. And then, of course, you have her traveling around with child trafficker Matt Gaetz. I'm sorry, accused child trafficker Matt Gaetz. And they get to go around unpunished, still have all their committee assignment. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene does not have her committee assignments, to be fair. But Matt Gaetz does. So they're essentially unpunished for the most part, still in Congress. That said, AOC called that out. She said the fact that Kevin McCarthy, the House GOP leader, stripped Justin Amash of all committee seats for criticizing Trump, but it's work to protect this person from consequences, including pretending he doesn't see it, tells you that this is happening with the support of GOP leadership. So, sorry, Meghan. It ain't the Democrats that are painting Meghan McCain out to be, as well as the Republican Party, as barbarians. You're doing it to yourself. Congratulations. You played yourself. Either she is so disconnected from what the Republican base actually believes, and I don't believe that at all, or, it's so embarrassing to her, and it affects her so much that she can't take it. She can't handle it. Either way, I think that she needs to accept that this is who they are. And by the way, it's who they've always been. Again, hey, do you know who her father is? The late Senator John McCain. I don't know if you knew that. Now, John McCain got himself into a little bit of trouble as well for, saying some pretty awful things about Asian people. In fact, back in 2000, McCain used an anti-Asian slur on his campaign trail. He said, "I hate the G word." And again, that is a slur for people of Asian descent. She says, "I will hate them as long as I live." Now later on, he's like, "Well, I only meant that for my Vietnamese captors." But in reality, that word is essentially the N-word, but towards Asian people, and has a pretty effed up history of being used as a blanket slur towards Asian people. And guess what? Republicans defended that. Meghan McCain herself said nothing about that. And McCain himself, when he was still alive, was like, "No, I'm not going to apologize for that. No, I hate them. I really do. I hate them." And again, he uses that slur. So now the point of that little history lesson was the fact that the party is and has always been pretty awful. And they have been barbarians. The only difference is now some people aren't letting them get away with it anymore. It's a culture shift. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.